Before coming to Albania, we kept hearing two completely different things. Albania is either Europe's next hidden gem, or somewhere you shouldn't visit at all.
The problem, no, let's actually not start there. The good thing is the internet says Albania is an affordable European gem. The problem is that there are those who say the country is unsafe and plagued by crime and corruption.
But it's also not some chaotic, unsafe place that some people make it out to be.
And the reality is not this perfect hidden gem.
And one of the first things we notice is how friendly the people are here.
So we spent the last month in Albania trying to figure out what things actually cost, if it feels safe, and what this place actually feels like for tourists. This is a video that a lot of you have asked for, so let's make it fun. So let's start with the most frequently asked question that we've gotten since we've been here: why Albania? Because it's not exactly what your mind goes to when you think of relocating to Europe. So kind of just rapid fire. 1, we've heard it's beautiful. 2, ever since we started this channel, our whole goal was to make international travel videos, which for the past 7 months, being in the RV, we were not very international. But it's very expensive to fly to and from the US, so we thought, why not base ourselves somewhere in Europe so we can get to those places and share those stories more accessibly. American citizens can actually stay in Albania for up to 1 year without needing a visa, but even more than that, there's actually a few residency permits that we do qualify for. So by relocating here and having the ability to get an apartment gives us something that we have never had before while traveling: time to actually get to know a place instead of just passing through. It also puts us in a part of the world that would have been really hard and expensive for us to explore if we were flying back and forth from the US. So suddenly, places like Hungary and Poland and Greece have opened up to us for a less than oh my god, I thought you were a child. Places like Hungary and Poland and Greece have become so much more accessible to us because they're about an hour flight and tickets are like $50. This chapter is opening up stories that we've always wanted to tell, but previously could never afford to do so. As you probably noticed by now, we've been trying to go a little bit deeper when it comes to our travel videos, and a big part of that is by talking to the locals. But sometimes, okay, a lot of times, there is a language barrier that often gets in the way of us really getting to know people. We've been on our Spanish language learning journey for about a year now, but we recently upgraded our learning with Rosetta Stone. The lessons are incredibly immersive, which we know is so important to the language learning journey. The program's true accent technology can actually listen to my speech so that I can master my pronunciation and work on sounding more fluent. Estoy detrás del carro. Plus, I'm able to personalize my lessons so that I'm learning applicable Spanish for situations that I'll find myself in. Like right now, I'm working through the travel lesson plan that can help us dig a little bit deeper in our travel videos in Spanish-speaking countries. But not only that, Rosetta Stone offers courses for 25 different languages, and you can bounce between them. Fun fact about Albania that we did not know before coming here is that many Albanians also speak Italian. You will find Italian stores, goods, the language, pretty much everywhere. With Rosetta Stone, we've actually been able to utilize that and pick up some Italian to use in our day-to-day life here. Trust us when we say that knowing the local language, even just a little bit, can really enhance your travel experience. With our link below, you can access all 25 of Rosetta Stone's languages for over 60% off a lifetime subscription. No recurring charges, just one payment for lifetime access of language learning. Oh, hi, come on in. This is our apartment. We signed a year-long lease. It is fabulous and still really bizarre that we have a place to call our own. Ooh, lest anyone forget, the sole reason we do anything is this guy. I don't think we would have gotten the RV had it not been for him. I don't think we would have found a place to live if it weren't for him. I feel like if we didn't have a cat, we would be more nomadic. But alas, we have a cat that predates this YouTube channel, by the way. We didn't get him recently. He's an old man. You know how parents are like, I'll do anything for my kids. Everything we do is to make sure he lives a comfortable life. Isn't that right? Anyway. This is it, our humble abode. It came furnished, which is nice. We spent a lot of time in here. The best thing about having an apartment is now we can pick up souvenirs. We got this rug in Barat, and then we got some art over there, which you can't see yet because we haven't told you where we're going, but it's a trip we just took. All right, follow me. Kitchen. Kitchen's got a brand new oven, stove, and fridge. Just about all we need. This is what I like to call Otto's bedroom because it has his litter box and his food.
You want to describe your room? Yeah.
What do you like about it? And we have a bathroom with a washing machine, which is also a nice change because we were in the RV for 7 months and we're going to a lot of laundromats. And then we have our bedroom. Best part about this apartment by far is all of the natural light. There's so much natural light and it's amazing. And we have a nice corner unit with not really any neighbors peering in. Really cool thing, there's a couple mosques surrounding us. So at different times of the day, you can hear a very faint call to prayer. That's it. One of the big questions we were asked was about the language barrier, and that was something that we were curious about before traveling here as well. What we were told before arriving was that many people here speak English, and we found that to be true. Most of the younger generation here can speak at least some English, and many places like restaurants and attractions around the city center will have English as well. When we get stuck, polite charades or simply utilizing Google Translate helps a lot. And as always, we try to learn some basic greetings wherever we go just out of respect. K. Ch.
The biggest question any traveler has about a country is it safe? I'll start with some quick context. There have been protests and political tension here recently.
The opposition-led protesters took to the streets demanding the resignation of PM Tirana.
A lot of that's with allegations of the government corruption and abuse of power. It hasn't really affected us as visitors, and it probably won't affect you as a tourist, but it's obviously an important topic for the people who live here.
It's hard to rank countries on safety because we've never had anything, knock on wood, bad happen. So I'm trying to think of it from a perspective of someone who doesn't live on the road as much as us. I think people will feel safe. I think there's just a lack of they're a little still behind on the infrastructure, which makes sense with the history of Albania. So just those kind of comforts and accessibility might cause you to have discomfort as a traveler. That doesn't make it unsafe. Things aren't gonna always make sense. The bus schedule might be non-existent sometimes. The road to get to where you need to go might look like this. It's not a cookie cutter polished place, which I feel like we prefer. That being said, as a female traveler, I have both gone out in the evening with Tony and just gone out with my girlfriends for a night on the town, and I've had no problems or feelings of unsafeness navigating back, getting a taxi late at night, walking back home. Obviously, we're always gonna say use your brain, but I have felt totally fine here.
Now, maybe it's just outdated ideas, or maybe we're just kind of naive, but we've had a fair share of people say that Albania isn't safe and racist. And what we've experienced so far has been complete opposite. As far as like being a black traveler, I feel a lot safer in certain countries in Europe, and this is being one of them, than I do in certain cities in the US. We've been invited by locals to their homes and out for drinks, real Albanian hospitality. Now, the one thing I will say is I do get some stares, and it takes some getting used to, but it's never like stares that feel there's malice behind them. It's always kind of like people being curious, like, what are you doing here?
But not in like a threatening way. Like,
yeah. More like oh shit.
What are you doing here?
Where are you from? You know?
But also on that note, it's kind of crazy when you think that this country has only been open to the rest of the world for 30 years.
Yeah.
Albania has a reputation for being one of the cheapest countries in Europe, and compared to the US, yeah, that part's absolutely true. But the reality is a little more nuanced than just everything is cheap. Some things are way cheaper, and some things are about the same. So after spending a full month living here in Tirana, here's a general breakdown of what we pay. It's a lot of numbers to put on a graphic, so it's going to be in US dollars. The currency in Albania is called lek, and we learned it's named after Alexander the Great, whose name was shortened to Leka in Albania. Anyway, random fun fact, the conversion as of April 2026 is 1,000 lek is roughly about 10 euros or 12 USD. We always choose local conversion at the ATMs, and the fees range from about 6 to 11 euros, depending on the ATM. People will often say you can use cards everywhere. The more accurate thing to say is you can use cards for some hotels, grocery stores, and restaurants in Tirana and the cities with a big tourism push, but I would always just bank on having cash. A lot of places in the big cities take cards, and there are ATMs around. However, if you plan to venture around the country or more rural areas, you're definitely going to need cash. The vibe. It's hard to explain. It's kind of the reason we like Albania. And the first thing that took some getting used to is people just chill, which seems pretty common throughout parts of Europe, but coffee shops, restaurants, nothing ever feels rushed. Some people might not like that, as your waiter might disappear for like 20 minutes, but the point is for you to have a relaxing time. People still sit and talk to each other here. There's this tradition called Giro here, which literally means walk in English. The Albanians have perfected this long-cherished form of activity. Every evening, people head out, walk around the streets, catching up and seeing old friends, just being outside once the day cools off. And then there's the hospitality. You feel it more outside the cities, but once you do, man, it's like you've been a long-lost friend this whole time. I'm a firm believer that if you travel to a place, you should eat the local food, instead of going to like things you typically get at home. Now, when we first got to Albania, I didn't think the food would be any good. And I'm not ashamed to say I was way off. We have a video we released a couple weeks ago about the food you can watch next. Our favorite dishes are the ferges, the barek, and the tavadeo. Oh, and the stuffed peppers, and the homemade meatballs, and whatever this was. What surprised us was the tavakosi, which I never would have imagined lamb and yogurt and eggs mixing well together.
Tirana ended up being way easier to get around than we expected. Most of the time we just walk. The city's quite manageable to get around on foot, especially around the city center, and it gives us a place to really take in all of the sights without rushing it. The one thing we were a little bit unsure about at first was the bus system. Felt a little chaotic, but once we gave it a shot, it was pretty easy. The buses aren't the fastest, but they're ridiculously affordable. About 40 lek, which is roughly 50 cents per ride. Hand them cash, they'll give you a ticket and change, and that's it. They can get pretty crowded, so it's not the smoothest ride, but it works. We mostly use Google Maps to figure it out. It tells you which bus to take, where to get on, when to get off, and after the first ride, it all felt a lot less intimidating. We haven't rented a car yet, but we are doing that soon to take a trip to the south, so we'll let you know how that goes.
Let's back up a bit and talk about how we got here and what the reality of arriving in Albania actually looked like.
Is there anything about the trip you're excited about right off the bat?
I'm excited to have a home.
Yeah.
I was browsing this morning and I was like, it's going to be so nice to have a place to live.
Not sure we fully understand what we're getting into, but we did Southeast Asia the same way and it worked out great. So hopefully Albania will work out really well too.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard our Boeing 747, a living legend and still the world's most beautiful passenger.
First up is an 8-hour flight from DC,
Non-stop service to France.
with a 4-hour layover in Germany. Then it was back on the plane for a 2-hour flight to Albania.
That we did bring you on time here to Tirana today and hope now that you will make it to your onward destination as quickly as possible.
Made it to Albania.
Made it to Albania.
First steps in Tirana. And I gotta say, this probably is not gonna work for everybody, but we have had the most expensive peace of mind that I think you can ever have when I travel, because we spent $1,400 on all of Otto's paperwork, his health certificates and all of that.
They didn't look at shit.
Not a single one.
Just the airline. The airline made sure we had like rabies mostly is what they're looking for, and then they had an airline specific form. Didn't look at our EU health certificate, didn't look at our Albania health certificate. We just walked right into this country with a cat.
Yeah.
Not advice or tips, just...
It's better to have it than to not, so at least we have it. And then on the way back, we'll have it, so.
Yeah. When you land in Albania, the first thing you'll probably want is a taxi, and luckily the process is pretty straightforward once you know what to use. We found Green Taxi and Lux to be the best so far. With Lux, we've just been sending them a message on WhatsApp. We will send them our live location and then they'll dispatch us a taxi. We found that those have been some of the lowest rates and I feel like they have discounts all the time. There's also a few apps that you can use like Potako and Speed Taxi, which kind of feels like Albania's version of Uber or Bolt. It's not perfect, but it's a solid option when you just want to know upfront what the fare will be. And with Potako, you can use a credit card. As far as where to stay when you come to Tirana, really anywhere that's in walking distance of Skanderbeg Square will put you in a great spot to explore the city. We've been told by a lot of people who live here that there's really no bad parts of Tirana, so as long as you're within walking distance to the site, I think that's a great spot.
So do you think we made the right decision, and has anything exceeded your expectations or kind of been on your expectations, or what surprised you?
I absolutely think we made the right decision solely because this was our only option to be able to keep making videos. And I don't know, Tony and I are so easy to acclimate to new places, so I don't think I had any expectations going into it. I will say something that exceeded my expectations. I did not expect to meet so many people so quickly. Like I feel like I joke about this, but as two introverts, our social calendar has never been busier. Like we have been meeting people. I've been able to meet other women who are living in Tirana. We've gone out with past tour guides for drinks. Like we've met other travelers coming through. We've met some of our Patreon people. That is not something we've had in our 5 years of traveling prior. Like we've met a few people, but we've been able to start to create a community here, which is something I was craving personally.
Albania feels like it's built for a certain type of traveler. You have to accept that it's not going to be completely polished. Things will go wrong, like a bus being late, or your meal takes a little bit longer than you expected. I think it leans more towards budget travelers, adventure seekers, and people who actually enjoy slowing down a little bit. People who are okay with a little bit of friction if that means a more authentic experience.
We still got so much of Albania to experience beyond just Tirana. Next up, we're heading south, and after that, into a few new countries. A big part of moving here was to use it as a base to explore more of Europe. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Subscribe so that you see where we end up next, and so that you never miss a detour.